you have a brilliant idea. Now you...
Let's see, I'm just testing if I'm live. I can't tell. Okay, yes, I am live. All right. Okay, hello. Welcome to Learn English with Audiobooks. Today we are going to start off where we left off last year, which was Chapter 3 of The Sign of Four with Sherlock Holmes. So the name of this chapter is In Quest of a Solution. Okay, we're not just going to read the words of this audiobook. We're going to stop and talk about interesting vocabulary, or maybe summarize some of the more difficult passages. And if I have a volunteer in Discord, I will practice with you once we finish the chapter. Okay, so I've got a whole thing designed. We'll build complex sentences based on, actually, in this case, we'll do a review of chapters 1 and 2 since it's been a while. But like I said, if you want to volunteer, there's a link in the Discord. There's a link in the description to Discord. Join the Discord server and say, pick me, and I will pick you, and we will practice together. If I don't have any volunteers, I'll just walk through the process myself. All right, so let's get started. I'm just going to reposition this a little bit so we can read it. Okay. It was 5:30 before Holmes returned. He was bright, eager, and in excellent spirits. You know, a lot of people, even more advanced learners, sometimes they don't, for some reason, they don't learn that word eager, which means very enthusiastic, very ready to start. So he was bright, happy, ready to start, and to be in excellent spirits means to be in a very good mood. So you can be in high spirits or excellent spirits, and that means that you're in a good mood. Okay. Oh, Alex is here. Hi, Alex. Long time no see. Alex said he'll volunteer. Okay, Alex, we'll bring you in at the end of the chapter. There's no great mystery in this matter, he said, taking a cup of tea which I had poured out for him. The facts appear to admit of only one explanation. What? You've solved it already? Well, that would be too much to say. I've discovered a suggestive fact, that is all. It is, however, very suggestive. They're using suggest here as an adjective. So if something is suggestive, it suggests something. So he found something, maybe a clue or a piece of evidence, and in his opinion, it suggests the answer. So it's a very strong piece of evidence, is what he's saying. The details are still to be added. Let me just adjust this. I'm still getting used to this new format. I want you to be able to see what I'm reading. Okay. The details are still to be added. I've just found on consulting the back files of the Times, so you know a lot of newspapers, I don't know if people still read newspapers, I guess not. But a lot of them are called, the London Times, the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times. So when you see that in a book, the Times, it's always referring to some newspaper. I've just found on consulting the back of the files of the Times, so he was looking in the back of the newspaper, and a lot of times in the back of a newspaper, it used to be that is where you would place a classified ad, like, oh, I'm looking for someone to clean my house, or I found a wallet on Main Street. If it's your wallet, please contact me with the details. So people were always leaving messages in the back of newspapers before the internet. So Sherlock Holmes was looking in the back of the Times, looking at the personal messages that people had paid to enter into the newspaper, And one of them read that Major Sholto of Upper Norwood, late of the 34th Bombay Infantry, died upon the 28th of April, 1882. So in this case, it's like an obituary. It's reading when somebody died. That's all he's reading from. Okay, I may be very obtuse, Holmes. Obtuse means like ignorant or stupid or pretending to be stupid. So I may be pretending to be stupid, Holmes. I may be very obtuse, but I fail to see what this suggests. No, you surprise me. Look at it in this way, then. Captain Morstan disappears. The only person in London whom he could have visited is Major Sholto. Major Sholto denies having heard that he was in London. 4 years later, Sholto dies. Within a week of his death, Captain Morstan's daughter receives a valuable present, which is repeated from year to year, and now culminates in a letter which describes her as a wronged woman. What wrong can it refer to except this deprivation of her father? So I don't know, of course you don't remember reading chapters 1 and 2 from last year, but the reason that this woman went to go see Sherlock Holmes was because every year she would receive a valuable pearl in the mail. And the person who was sending them to her was saying that she was a wronged woman, that something bad, that she was somehow cheated. And now Sherlock Holmes is guessing, well, she was cheated out of her father. Someone killed her father. And this person is trying to compensate her for that by paying with valuable pearls. And why should the presents begin immediately after Sholto's death, unless it is that Sholto's heir knows something of the mystery and desires to make compensation? Have you any alternative theory which will meet the facts? But what a strange compensation, and how strangely made. Why, too, should he write a letter now, rather than 6 years ago? So Watson is saying it's very strange. Why is he just sending her pearls, one pearl every year? And why suddenly does he want to pay her? Why didn't he try to pay her 6 years ago when her father died? Again, the letter speaks of giving her justice. What justice can she have? It is too much to suppose that her father is still. It is too much to suppose that her father is still alive. There's no other injustice in her case that you know of. There are difficulties. There are certainly difficulties, said Sherlock Holmes pensively. Pensive means to think. So actually, it's a verb in Latin languages like Spanish or French. The French verb for think is pense. So pensive means thinking. So when Sherlock Holmes says something pensively, he's, maybe you're right. He's thinking about it. That's what pensive means. But our expectation of tonight will solve them all. Ah, here is a four-wheeler. So I think they're talking about catching a cab, catching a taxi. So probably, you have the smaller taxis, which are 2 wheels. This is a horse and carriage. But he says, oh, here's one with 4 wheels, which obviously can hold more people. I think the ones with 2 wheels probably only fit comfortably 2 people. And Miss Morstan is inside. Are you all ready? Then we'd better go down, for it is little past the hour. I picked up my hat and my heaviest stick, but I observed that Holmes took his revolver, so a revolver is a type of gun, from his drawer and slipped it into his pocket. Let's see. Just let me get situated here. Okay. That he thought our night's work might be a serious one. Miss Morstan was muffled in a dark cloak. Muffle, that word muffle, it means to make a big sound smaller. So, for example, there's something on your car called a muffler, and that's like let me see. I'm not sure how to share pictures with this software, so you'll have to give me a moment. But it's worth talking about this word muffle for a moment. Okay, let me see how I can share this with you. I'll just do this really quickly. Oh, I don't think that worked. Well, a muffler, it's like the piece of a car that if you didn't have it on your car would be really, really loud. It's underneath the car. It's like a metal box, and it contains all the sound. And they call it a muffler because it keeps the car quiet. If you talk in a muffled voice, I mean, here I'm talking regularly, you can hear me. If I cover my mouth, that is muffled. That is muffled. So that means like suppressing the sound. So Miss Morstan was muffled in a dark cloak. Okay, but it can also mean, here it doesn't have to do with sound. I mean, that's the most useful way to use that word muffle. But here, I think it just means she was wrapped up in her dark cloak. You wouldn't use that in regular conversation. Okay, her sensitive face was composed. To have composure means like not to express emotions. So she might have been, I mean, she's probably very nervous going to visit this person, this mysterious person who's sending her money and calling her a wronged woman. But she's not showing it. She's composed. She's not showing any emotion. So her sensitive face was composed, but pale. So her face was very white. Not like mine. I look very red in this light for some reason. I am not pale today. I'm not really this red. I look like a tomato. I have to fix some of the settings or something. Okay. She must have been more than a woman. She must have been more than woman if she did not feel some uneasiness at the strange enterprise upon which they were embarking. So enterprise means kind of like business, and they're saying, oh, she's got to be more than just a woman because she's not nervous. She doesn't feel anything. Even though they're starting this very strange business of meeting this mysterious man. Yet her self-control was perfect, and she readily answered the few additional questions which Sherlock Holmes put to her. Major Sholto was a very particular friend of Papa's, she said. Let's see, we've got a comment. Pachu said I'm red. I am red. Red like a tomato. Mike Learning said, thank you for your job. How do you decide what words can be harder for your learners? You explain words, but depending on their native languages, it might be easier or harder to guess. Well, I've been teaching English for like 25 years. So I can imagine which words people don't know, but would also be reading this. So they have a certain level probably, so that they understand most words. But there are some words that in my experience, even if you could read something like this, you probably don't know. And those are the words that I focus on. But we're doing this live so you can ask in the comments. If there's something you don't understand, a phrase or a word, just ask in the comments. I try to watch the comments as I'm reading. And I'm happy to answer them. That's the whole point of doing it live, so you can make questions. Major Sholto was a very particular friend of Papa's, she said. His letters were full of allusions to the Major. To allude to something means like to refer to something, but maybe not directly. So indirect references. So his letters, no, maybe this is direct. So when her father wrote to her, she always mentioned Major Sholto. Let's say it like that. That's really what she's saying. He and Papa were in command of the troops at the Andaman Islands. So they were thrown a great deal together. So they worked together all the time. By the way, a curious paper was found in Papa's desk, which no one could understand. I don't suppose that it is of the slightest importance, but I thought you might care to see it, so I brought it with me. It is here. Holmes unfolded the paper carefully, smoothed it out. You know, when you fold something, it leaves creases and the paper is uneven. So if you smooth it out, if you smooth something out, you're doing this to it to make it flat again. Smoothed it out upon his knee, and he then very methodically examined all over with his double lens. It's a paper of native Indian manufacture, he remarked. It has at some time been pinned to a board. The diagram upon it appears to be a plan of part of a large building with numerous halls, corridors. Corridor is another way of saying hallway, and passages. Passages is also, I mean, they don't have to be hallways, but they frequently are hallways, places where you pass. At one point is a small cross done in red ink, and above it is 3.37 from left in faded pencil writing. In the left-hand corner is a curious hieroglyphic, like 4 crosses in a line with their arms touching. Beside it is Pachu says, Indian manufacture. Yes, this story, of course you don't remember because this was a long time ago, but this story starts out, well, I don't know if it starts out, but I happen to know this story. The lady in the carriage with Sherlock Holmes, her father was in the military, and he was in the military this is around 1880, something like that, in India. And all of these characters were soldiers in the military who were in India. The daughter was not in India. She was left in a school in the UK. So she rarely ever saw her father. And then he died. And she's receiving these mysterious gifts. So when they look at the paper, Holmes says, oh, the paper's from India. She has a connection to India because her father was in the military there, and so were all of his friends. Besides, it is written in a very rough and coarse characters. So by rough and coarse, they mean that it's not written very well. This person is not an artist, or they're not very literate. They can't read very well. The sign of 4. Jonathan Small, Mahomet Singh, Abdullah Khan, and Dost Akbar. No, I confess I do not see how it bears upon the matter. So Sherlock is saying, I don't see the connection. I don't understand the connection between this mysterious paper with these names and the problem of this woman. It has been kept carefully in a pocketbook, for the one side is as clean as the other. So what Holmes is observing is that somebody was very careful to take care of this piece of paper. Preserve it carefully then, Miss Morstan, for it may prove to be of use to us. I begin to suspect that this matter may turn out to be much deeper and more subtle than I first supposed. If something is subtle, it means that it's not obvious. Subtle is sort of the opposite of obvious. So at first, Holmes was saying, oh, well, this is very easy to solve this case. And now he's saying it's subtle. Oh, maybe it's not so easy. Maybe it's not so obvious. I must reconsider my ideas. He leaned back in the cab, and I could see by his drawn brow. Draw, I mean, you know that draw means to make pictures, but also draw means to extract or pull. And this is your brow right here. So drawn brow probably means something like this, you know, raising your, I can't see now, raising your brow up like this, pulling it back like you do when you're thinking. His, drawn brow. So draw means, it does mean making pictures, okay? But it also means pull or extract. I could see by his drawn brow and his vacant eye that he was thinking intently. Miss Morstan and I chatted in an undertone about our present expedition and its possible outcome, but our companion maintained his impenetrable reserve until the end of the journey. Now we have the word penetrate. I'm just looking at this word penetrable, impenetrable. And we have the word penetrate. And that means like something can go through another thing. That's penetrate, okay? So if you say penetrable, that means you can go through it. But if you say impenetrable, that means you cannot go through it. So his impenetrable reserve. He was reserved. He was like this, and nobody could go through that. He was just sitting there thinking, and nobody could reach him or see him. Okay, let's move on to our next page here. It was a September evening, and not yet 7 o'clock. But the day had been a dreary one. Dreary could mean like dark, depressing, no hope. So imagine London in September. No sunshine, probably a lot of rain, a little bit cold. Not very happy weather. Dreary, that's dreary weather, a dreary day. And a dense drizzly fog lay low upon the great city. Drizzle means, so if you have rain, which is like steady water, but if you just have little drops here and there, that's drizzle. So drizzly fog. So it's foggy, it's very cloudy in the streets, and there's little drops of water in the air. That's a drizzly fog. A dense, drizzly fog lay low upon the great city. Mud-colored clouds drooped sadly over the muddy streets. And so drooping, if you have a straight line like this, that's nice and even and straight. Drooping is when it goes like this. Like this. I can't see the camera. like this. So droopy clouds hanging down low. Down the Strand, the lamps were but misty splotches. A splotch, imagine if you take some ink and you go, you can imagine the uneven shape. It's a circle in the middle, but with little arms coming out. That's splotchy. So instead of seeing clear lights, street lamps, because of the fog, they looked like splotches. You could see the yellow light in the middle and just lines coming out. That's the shape of a splotch. Pachu said, "I'm not," but I'm not sure what you mean by that, Pachu. Can you clarify? All right, so down the strand, the lamps were but misty splotches of diffused light. Diffused means that the lights were going in every direction, not really having a purpose, not really shining on anything in particular. Feebles, let's see. Let me read that again. Down the strand, the lamps were but misty splotches of diffused light. Through a feeble means weak, circular glimmer upon the slimy pavement. That is quite a sentence. Pachu says impenetrable. Yeah, impenetrable. Yeah, You put im on it to make it certain. With the word penetrable, you put im in front of it. That makes it negative. Impenetrable. Well, this is quite a sentence. There are many words in here packed in. Feeble means weak. Glimmer means like maybe flashing lights. And slimy is a type of thick wetness. So that's quite a sentence. A feeble circular glimmer upon the slimy pavement. Okay. The yellow glare. Glare is what happens when a very bright light is shining. The yellow glare from the shop windows streamed out into the steamy, vaporous air and through a murky... Wow, these sentences are merciless. They have so many words in them. And through a murky, shifting radiance across the crowded thoroughfare. Oh my God. Okay. A thoroughfare is kind of like a major street, let's say. So it's a crowded thoroughfare. That means it's a crowded major street. Murky is a kind of dirty. It's a kind of dirty with water and mud. Kind of ugly dirtiness. So we have the vaporous air through a murky, shifting radiance across the crowded thoroughfare. So I guess what you have to imagine is a major street with a lot of people walking around, but you can't only really see the shapes because of the fog. You can't really see the details. And also, imagine a bright light shining on the fog. You can't really see anything because the fog captures all of the light. Pachu says, many hard words have been used. They have. Yeah, this is one major sentence right here. There was, to my mind, something eerie and ghost-like. Eerie means like strange in a scary way. There was something eerie and ghost-like in the endless procession of faces which flitted across these narrow bars of light. Sad faces and glad, haggard and merry. Haggard means like old and rough. It's like an old rough face. But also merry. Merry means happy. Mike Learning says it would be very useful knowing what comes to your mind when you see a set of multi-meaning English words as an English native in order to understand the language. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, because especially like with that, where was that sentence with thoroughfare? Where did that go? We've got through a murky, shifty radiance across the crowded thoroughfare. It's just a long string of words that would be really hard for even a very advanced English learner to get through. So I'm kind of explaining the words a little bit, but also trying to show you what I picture. I picture, thoroughfare is a crowded street, a major street. It's crowded, but then we have to think about the fog and the very shiny lights. So it may be crowded, but all you can see are like the shapes of people. So the radiance, the shifting radiance, you have the lights going back and forth. So the lights are shifting. Shifting means moving. And the radiance is like giving off light. So every time a light moves, the scene changes a bit. but you don't really know what you're looking at because you can't see the details because of the fog and the dirtiness, the murkiness of it. Oh, no, Mike says, I'm just going to call you Mike. Mike says, I mean, what comes to your mind as soon as you see the word. That's like word association. Okay, we'll try it. Let's try it. Let's see. So like all humankind, they flitted. Now, to me, flit means move back and forth, move quickly. So like a humankind, they flitted from gloom. Gloom means like sadness, into the light, or darkness, into the light. And so back into the gloom once more. So the lights are moving quickly, and you get a quick flash. That's the flitting part. You get a quick flash of like a scene of people, just as the light moves. I'm not subject to impressions, but the dull, heavy evening, with the strange business upon which we were engaged, combined to make me nervous and depressed. So I think this is Watson describing this. And he's saying, I normally don't get emotional about scenes, about the things I'm seeing. But everything together, the foggy night, all the weird activity, but also the strange thing that we're doing, going to meet this mysterious person, has made me feel very nervous and depressed. I could see from Miss Morstan's manner that she was suffering from the same feeling. So Miss Morstan was also nervous. Holmes alone could rise superior to petty influences. So petty just means small. Okay, it's the French word petite for small. And we use it in English for not just to mean small, we use it to mean insignificant, like small in a bad way, like not important is how we use it. That's how we use it in English. Petty means not important. Pachu says, Watson roll? Pachu, are you asking who is Watson? Is that what you mean by Watson roll? He held his open notebook upon his knee, and from time to time he jotted down figures. So now you could say he wrote down figures, but when you say jot down, that means write very quickly, okay? And not very carefully. Maybe just a little reminder or something. And figures means numbers. Pachu says, who? The main characters so far are Sherlock Holmes. We know Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes has an assistant. His name is Dr. Watson. Okay. Sherlock Holmes is very smart, but he's also a drug addict. And he doesn't take care of himself very well. So Watson is a doctor. He's a physician, and he's taking care of Holmes physically. But also he's like a very good friend, and also his assistant. And Watson admires him very much for his skills. And Miss Morstan is the woman that they're trying to help. Holmes alone could rise superior to petty influences. He held open his notebook upon his knee, and from time to time he jotted down, wrote very quickly, figures and memoranda in the light of his pocket lantern. At the Lyceum Theater, the crowds were already thick at the side entrances. So the theater where they were going to was very crowded, a lot of people. In front, a continuous stream of hansoms. Handsome doesn't mean good-looking man. It means a type of carriage, horse and carriage. Those, I think, are the two-wheel carriages, actually. And four-wheelers were rattling up. Rattle is the sound. I know we've talked about it before. Let me just reproduce that sound for you right now. This is rattling. It's the sound of things hitting together. That's rattling. So you can imagine the wheels of the carriages were moving in the streets, and you can hear rattling. They were noisy. Discharging their cargoes of shirt-fronted men and bediamonded women. Okay, this putting "b" in front of something, it isn't very common now. It's kind of an older way of using English. But so a shawl is like something that a woman wears around her shoulders. Okay, so if it's a beshawled woman, that means it's a woman wearing a shawl. And bediamond, we know what diamonds are. And so a bediamonded woman would be a woman wearing diamonds. That's all it means. We had hardly reached the third pillar, which was our rendezvous. Now, so that's a funny word, rendezvous, and it's a French phrase, and it means meeting. It means having a meeting. It means arranging a date. So a rendezvous, and people use it in English, rendezvous means having a date. Not really a business meeting, more of like a social agreement, like an agreement to meet socially. So we had hardly reached the third pillar. So the third pillar was their rendezvous. That's where they agreed to meet. We had hardly reached the third pillar, which was our rendezvous, before a small, dark, brisk man, brisk means like quick, short, small, something like that, in the dress of a coachman, accosted us. So a coachman is a driver, like a taxi cab driver. "Are you the parties who come with Miss Morstan?" he asked. "I am Miss Morstan, and these two gentlemen are my friends," she said. He bent a pair of wonderfully penetrating, questioning eyes upon us. So remember we had impenetrable, which means you cannot go through it. So this word penetrate, it means go through. Now, if you have penetrating eyes, that means when you look at someone, your look goes through them. It means like you have a very strong power in your look. Maybe you're a very observant person. Maybe you're a very serious person. Penetrating eyes. Where's the camera? Eyes that go through you. Eyes that can read your soul. Something like that. So he bent down. He bent a pair of wonderfully penetrating and questioning eyes upon us. So he was looking at them in a very strong way, trying to understand who they were exactly. "You'll excuse me, miss," he said with a certain dogged manner, "but I was to ask you to give me your word that neither of your companions is a police officer." "I give you my word on that," she answered. He gave a shrill whistle, on which a street Arab led across a four-wheeler. I'm not sure what a street Arab is. And opened the door. The man who had addressed us mounted to the box. To mount something means to go on top of something. So you could actually mount a bicycle. You normally don't say that. You do say mount a horse. In this case, he mounted the carriage. So he got on top of the carriage, getting ready to drive away. While we took our places inside, we had hardly done so before the driver whipped up his horse, and we plunged away at a furious pace through the foggy streets. So plunge, like if you have a toilet and there's something in the toilet, you have to do this with a special tool, and that's called a plunger. Plunge means like go down very quickly. That's what plunge. So if you plunge into your seat, that means you sit down very quickly. Here they plunged away. So they're saying they rode away very quickly. The situation was a curious one. We were driving to an unknown place on an unknown errand. An errand is something, a task that you have to do, something you must do. And what they must do is meet this strange, mysterious man. That's their errand. That's their task. And that's a pretty common word, actually. Yet our invitation was either a complete hoax. A hoax means like a joke or a trick. So they're kind of thinking, oh, maybe this is some kind of trick. Maybe somebody's playing a joke on us. Or else we had good reason to think that we just have one more line, Alex, so I hope you're getting ready to go live. Morsten's demeanor. So demeanor is how does she look? How does her body look? Is she like this? Is she like this? Is she like this? That's demeanor. Miss Morsten's demeanor was as resolute. Maybe you know the word resolution, which means like decision, a decision that you make. To be resolute means I've made a decision. I'm very confident in my decision. So that was Mrs. Morsten's demeanor. She was Miss Morsten's demeanor. She was resolute, like, I'm going to do it. I'm not scared. She was resolute. She had made her decision and she doesn't care. Miss Morsten's demeanor was as resolute and collected as ever. I endeavored. Endeavor is a fancy way of saying try. I endeavored to cheer and amuse her, so I tried to make her feel more relaxed or happier. I endeavored to cheer and amuse her by reminiscences, those are like memories, of my adventures in Afghanistan. But, to tell the truth, I myself was so excited at our situation and so curious as to our destination that my stories were slightly involved. To this day, she declares that I told her one moving anecdote. Anecdote means like story. As to how a musket is a type of gun, a rifle, looked into my tent at the dead of night. So it sounds like he was telling a story of how in Afghanistan one night someone pointed a rifle into his tent in the middle of the night, and how I fired a double-barreled tiger cub at it. So I guess a double barrel, that means like two pipes on a rifle. I don't know what they're called. Barrels. They're called barrels. But I don't know what a tiger cub is. Maybe some old kind of rifle. At first I had some idea as to the direction in which we were driving. But soon, what with our pace, the fog, and my own limited knowledge of London, I lost my bearings. When you lose your bearings, that means you lose your direction. Did that ever happen to you? You go into a very complicated space and you think you know where you're going, but suddenly you get confused and now you don't know, should I go straight? Should I turn left? Should I turn right? Because you've lost your sense of direction. You don't know which direction you're walking anymore. That's losing your bearings. That's a pretty common phrase. I lost my bearings and knew nothing, save that we seemed to be going a very long way. Sherlock Holmes was never at fault, however, and he muttered. Muttering is when you talk very lowly, like so he's not trying really to communicate very hard with anyone. He muttered the names as the cab rattled through the squares. So as the cab is driving by, I don't know, maybe it says like Piccadilly Circus. I don't know. So he would say it but not announce it. He would be like Piccadilly Circus, like that, something like that. That would be muttering. Muttering is when you speak very low and unclearly. As the cab rattled through squares and in and out by tortuous by-streets. So, we talked about the word thoroughfare earlier, and that was like a main street. Now these are by streets, and you have to say by in a very strong way. It's not by streets. You have to say by streets. It's a very big sound. And those mean like side streets, unimportant streets, little streets. So this is a quotation of Holmes muttering, "Rochester Row," said he. No, no, Vincent Square. So he's muttering. It's not clear. It's low. He's not really announcing it. He's talking to himself, really. And now we come out on the Vauxhall Bridge Road. We're making for the Surrey side, apparently. Yes, I thought so. And now we're on the bridge. You can catch glimpses of the river. A glimpse is like a short, quick look. So remember, it's dark. There's fog. The lights, the fog absorbing the lights is confusing everything. But sometimes you can see the water in the river. You can catch glimpses of the river. We did indeed bet a fleeting view. Fleeting, that word fleeting is related to fly. So flying past, running past, going very fast. Fleeting means it's only there for a second. We did indeed bet a fleeting view of a stretch of the Thames with the lamps shining upon the broad, silent water. But our cab dashed on. Dash means like run. And was soon involved in a labyrinth of streets upon the other side. So labyrinth is like a maze, a confusing maze. So 1 minute they're on one side of town, they cross the bridge, and now they're in a different part of town, and the streets are very small and confusing. They're a labyrinth. "Wordsworth Road," said my companion. "Priory Road." That's muttering. I'm muttering these names, just like Holmes. "Larkhall Lane," Snuggle Place, Robert Street, Culver Lane. Our quest does not appear to take us to a very fashionable regions. So now they're saying, it looks like we're going to the bad part of town. We had indeed reached a questionable and forbidding neighborhood. When something is questionable, it means you have a lot of questions about it, and it's usually a very negative word. So if somebody is engaged in questionable business, that means, I don't know if that's very honest business. I have a lot of questions for that person. Questionable. If you're in a questionable neighborhood, you're thinking, what's going to happen to me? Will somebody rob me? Will somebody hurt me? What happens in this neighborhood? Probably only bad things. That's like saying a questionable neighborhood. So we had indeed reached a questionable neighborhood, forbidding neighborhood, long lines of dull means boring, brick houses were only relieved by the coarse glare and tawdry brilliance of public houses at the corner. So, pubs, famous British pubs, really pub is short for public houses. So when they say public houses, they mean bars. So it's very dull, boring, dark, depressing, but on every corner there's a pub, there's a public house. Then came rows of two-storied villas, each with a fronting of miniature garden, and then again, interminable. So we have the word terminate, which means to stop. Terminable means can stop, and interminable means it never can stop. So an interminable line of new brick buildings. That line of brick buildings, it looks like it never stops. It looks like it continues forever. Interminable. The monster tentacles, which do you know an octopus? That's like the slimy fish with the 8 legs. Those are tentacles. So they don't really have legs or arms. They're called tentacles. So that we have the word tentacles here, the monster tentacles, which the giant city was throwing out into the country. At last the cab drew up. So remember, draw does mean make pictures, but it also means like extract or pull. And in this case, when the cab drew up, it means the cab pulled forward. It moved forward to one of the houses. At last the cab drew up at the third house in a new terrace. None of the other houses were inhabited. And that at which we stopped was as dark as its neighbors, save for a single glimmer, a little shining light, a glimmer, in the kitchen window. On our knocking, however, the door was instantly thrown open by a Hindu servant, clad. Clad means like wearing. So wearing a yellow turban, clad in a yellow turban. White, loose-fitting clothes and a yellow sash. A sash is, usually that's when I think of a sash, I think of it goes across your body like this. But I think, it could also be around the waist. There was something incongruous about this Oriental figure. Incongruous means it doesn't really fit. It doesn't match. It doesn't go together. So imagine the door opens and there's a person from India wearing a yellow turban and a yellow sash, but there's something that doesn't seem right. There's something that doesn't fit, something that doesn't match everything else. Incongruous. It means it doesn't match. You can't put it together. In this Oriental figure, framed in the commonplace doorway of a third-rate suburb dwelling house. So what they're saying, this is the incongruous part, okay? Probably if someone had a servant and he's wearing fancy clothes like a yellow turban and a yellow sash, you would expect this to be a very impressive house. But third rate means not very good, not very expensive, not very good quality. So what they're saying is the thing that doesn't match, the thing that seems like a very strange placement, is kind of a fancy servant in a not very fancy house. "The Sahib awaits you," said he, and even as he spoke, there came a high piping voice from some inner room. "Show them in to me, Kitmutgar," he cried. "Show them straight to me." Okay, and I think that's the end. Yes, that's the end. So next time, probably tomorrow, but in the afternoon. I can't do the morning right now. We will start chapter 4, the story of the bald-headed man. But now we're going to move on to the fun part. The fun part is we are going to build some complex sentences with the information, not from this chapter, but from the previous two. We're going to do what's called a recap, which means we're going to review what happened in the previous two chapters. Since it's been a while since we've read this, but let me see if, nope, that's not it. Oh no. Where is it? Okay, here we go. That's what we're looking for. Okay, now Alex has volunteered to build some sentences with us. So now I'm going to go to Discord and I'm going to find Alex and see if we can connect. I hope we can. And if you ever want to volunteer, just find the Discord link below and join the Discord group. And the first person to volunteer is the first person that I will take and build sentences with, okay? So Alex says he's here. Let me see if I can figure out. This is just my second time connecting today. So let's see. How do I do this? I know I saw it earlier. Maybe it's start a call. Let's see what happens. Was this right? Hello? Are you there? It's not how I did it this morning with Pachu. I don't know if this is working. Maybe I'll try again. Because I don't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me. Let me see if you're in the comments somewhere. Wait, I'm gonna close this and try a different way. How did I do that this morning? Let me see. Join call, maybe? Let's see.
Hello?
Ah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, wonderful. How have you been? It's been a while.
Yeah, been a while, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait, let me see. Before we start, Mike Learning says, here you are versus here you have. Here you are is probably when you're presenting something. Here you are. And here you have, probably you would have to give more information after that. Like, here you have a watermelon. I don't know, something like that. You have to name what you're pointing out if you say have. And here you are is something when you say, usually when you're presenting something. Okay. Oh, wait, he said, wait, sorry, one more thing. Imagine you're on a train and the clerk asks you for a ticket and you answer, well, in this case, you're presenting the ticket. So you would say, here you are. Okay, you could say, here you have the ticket, but that doesn't really make much sense in this case, since you're just
Or you
presenting.
can say, here you go.
That would be less formal and probably more common these days. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Okay, so we're just going to take a look at these 6 pictures. Can you see the 6 pictures behind me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And this is sort of a review of what happened in chapters 1 and 2. All right, so if you look at picture number 1, and we can look at a close-up of that.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe that picture? What do you see actually happening in that picture?
I can see a lady just sit down holding like a sign
Mm-hmm.
and something in front of her on the desk, like could be like a present or box or something like that. I can see like jewelry as well on the top of the desk.
Okay.
So it could be in the night time, but it's dark outside. You can see that from the window. And she is a bit of in a bit of shock or surprise because
Okay.
she's like staring at the
What is in the bottom right corner?
I can't see. Oh, and it's something like books or presents or something like that.
Okay, actually, it should be letters. Those are supposed to be letters.
It could be.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So she has a stack of these letters, and what is she reading right now? Do you think that's a sign or a letter?
That could be a letter.
Okay. And what is on the table?
Like on the table, an old lamp. Yeah, we used to have that one at home.
Uh-huh.
Very ancient one,
Mhm.
like lighting with the gas, used with the gas, like they used to use it before. Yeah, and jewelers as well, and
Okay.
the service of the disc.
Okay.
Uh,
I think that the jewelry came in one of the letters. I think that's the idea here.
okay.
Okay. So she's receiving these mysterious letters, and she's also receiving mysterious gifts.
Yes. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think is happening in picture number 2?
Just in picture now.
In the second picture, picture number 2. Here, maybe let me try to do a close-up. That's picture number 2.
In picture number 2, I can see, like, I think they try to figure out is that a true jewelry or something like fake or like a false one.
Okay.
Let's try to.
But is he looking at the jewelry or the letter?
No, he could look like an worker for the police, like what we call it, the
Detective?
detective. You have someone like a detective is more serious than any than to be like a killer, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's Sherlock Holmes, and he's looking at the letter. He's examining the letter for clues. Okay. How about in picture number 3? What do you see in picture number 3?
Still not open the screen on the screen yet.
Yeah, there's probably a little delay. You still don't see it?
Yeah, no, it's came out now. Yeah, it's an old what we call cart. I don't know what you call it. I can't remember what you call it. It's
you know, you would call it a cart if you were carrying items in it, like, I don't know, furniture or bricks or whatever. But because it's like carrying people, you call it a carriage.
Yeah, I was looking for that carriage.
Okay, so we see people.
Carriage, yeah,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I can't see inside it. I'm sorry. About 4 people inside.
Okay.
About 4 people inside, and we just pulled with 2 horses.
Okay.
And it was like it's dark outside, and I think it was raining.
All right. Yeah.
Because you can see the street was wet, and somebody was like watching them.
Yeah.
Be like.
Okay, let's move on to picture number 4. What seems to be happening in picture number 4?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. just think of something. I don't know. I can't.
Like that the man, like, you know, he looks to me like a magician, like, you know, or
he looks like
a magician, like,
like a magician. Okay, yeah. Let's move on to 5. I don't know, because I don't know what to say about that picture either.
Let's see.
Let's see picture number 5.
All right.
So remember, the lady was receiving mysterious presents in the mail.
Gift or something. Yeah.
And how about in number 5? Do you think maybe this also is for her?
I don't think so. Like, it looks like a bomb or something like that.
No, I think it's gold and jewels and things like that. I don't think it's a bomb. Yeah, it's a cartoon. They like to exaggerate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I can see a few pieces on the desk or the table. Yeah,
yeah, on the table.
Yeah, golden.
So
golden.
For some reason, somebody is sending her a lot of gold and money. Okay. And what happens in picture number 6?
It's not up yet. Picture number 6, not up on the screen yet. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
that's what.
Okay. Well, it looks like they're going somewhere. I don't know. They arrived at some place, maybe to investigate. Let's just say that. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go back to frame 1. Okay. What we're going to do is try to build some more complex sentences with the information that we have here, okay? So why don't we start with a verb, okay? And our first verb, if you can see it, is receive. And what kind of sentence do you think you could make with receive here?
Yeah, she received a gift or a letter.
Okay. So maybe we'll say her name, Miss Marston. Okay.
Miss Marston received a letter. Yeah.
So Miss Marston received, can you repeat, how was that?
Miss Marston received a gift or a letter.
Okay, a gift or a letter. Okay. Now, I think that one thing that might be helpful is because gift and letter are very important words here, okay? So when you say these two words, do not rush through the vowel sound of gift or letter. You can with aura. Aura can be very small. Gift or a letter, like that.
Okay.
Can you try to say it like that?
Okay, Miss Marston received a gift or a letter.
Okay, but I think you're rushing through gift. I wish you'd spend a little more time with that vowel sound. Gift or a letter. Actually, it's the F that you push down on. Gift or a letter.
Gift or a letter.
That's clear, because if you say gift or letter, people will say, what? What was that word? So that's a pretty important thing to keep in mind. Okay, Miss Marston received a gift or a letter. Okay. What about letter B? How could you use unfold and make a sentence describing picture 1?
She stacked unfolded letters.
What was that word that you said? She what? And unfolded letters?
A stack.
Oh, stacked.
Oh, she has a stacked unfolded letter like.
She stacked, like making a pile? Okay, stacked and fold. Did you say and folded like that?
No, it's stacked folded letter, unfolded.
Unfolded letters. Okay, unfolded letter. So you're really using unfold like an adjective here. And you're using stack as your verb. But usually what you could do, I mean, you could say she unfolded a letter.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just to practice using unfold like a verb.
Okay. She unfolded it.
You can use unfold for many things, like unfold the sheets, unfold stories unfold sometimes. So let's say she unfolded the letter. Let's do that. I think that probably would be better.
She unfolded the letter.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Is that pretty clear? Okay. All right. So she unfolded the letter. And let's do one more. How would you do examine? How could you make a sentence describing picture 1 using examine?
She examined the letter. Or she is examining the letters.
Mike Learning says she unfolded the presents she received. Well, the presents, folding is when you take something flat and you do this to it. And the presents that she received were really not something that you could fold. She could unfold the letter, but she couldn't really unfold like a pearl necklace. You can't unfold that. Or gold, you can't really unfold. I'm sorry, Alex, can you repeat that with examine, please?
She examines the letter, or she is examining the letter.
Okay, let's use the past. She examined the letter.
Examined the letter.
Okay. So which one do you like? Which one do you think that we should use to build a story here? Should we use receive, unfold, or examined? Can be any of them.
I go for receive. Because received,
So you pick the first one. She received a gift or a letter? Right. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now let's just jump up to time expressions, okay? And let's add a time expression. Where would you add earlier that evening?
At the beginning,
Okay.
evening at evening, or that evening.
Okay. But now, so let's pay attention to the duration of the vowel sounds because that word earlier is very
Earlier,
important. And we want to give that a lot of sound. Earlier that evening.
earlier that evening,
Miss Marston received a gift or a letter.
Miss Marston received a gift or a letter.
Can you read the whole thing again, please, starting from the beginning, and make sure to say earlier.
Okay, yeah. Earlier that evening, Miss Marston received a gift or a letter.
Okay, a gift or a letter. A little more time.
A gift.
Yes, spend a little more time with that word gift. Okay.
Gift or letter.
Gift. Okay.
Yes. Or letter.
How about at the beginning of the story? How would you change the sentence using that time expression?
It can go at the beginning as well.
That's true. So how would you say it? I just want you to practice all these different time expressions.
At the beginning of the story, Miss Marston received a gift or a letter.
Okay. At the beginning of the story, Miss Marston received a gift or a letter. Okay. And how about the final time expression, shortly before sunset?
It can go at the beginning as well.
Okay. So how does it sound?
Yeah. Okay. Suddenly, before sunset, Mrs. Marston received a gift or a letter.
Shortly before sunset,
Yeah.
Miss Marston received, oh, I don't have to put Miss Marston, but I do have to put shortly before sunset. Shortly before sunset. Okay, which one do you like? Which one do you think we should use to create the story?
I go for the last one, shortly before. Yeah.
Alrighty, shortly before sunset. I don't know, I think I forgot to, I mean, I think that these words are too easy. I should have made sure that we were using more advanced words, but oh well, I'm still getting used to doing this. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Next time though, we'll make it harder next time.
Okay.
I mean, you're not really learning new words here, which is too bad, but okay.
No. At least we'll revise them. At least we know how to pronounce them right and use them in the right.
Yeah, that's true.
Right way.
Okay. So let's put an adverb. Where would you put the word cautiously?
Cautiously goes before the verb.
Okay. In this case, you're right. In this case, it should. So how would you say the whole sentence?
Shortly before sunset, Miss Marston cautiously received a gift or a letter.
Okay. Cautiously received a gift or letter. So Mike, learning, when you say she examined attentively the present, you have the adverb in the wrong position. It should be she attentively examined. In that case, sometimes it goes after, sometimes it goes before. It depends on which verb you're using. Okay. Can you read that one more time, Alex?
Shortly before sunset, Mrs. Marston cautiously received a gift or a letter.
Okay, and that's good that I can hear you saying shortly and cautiously. It's good to spend time on those words. Make people hear them. Okay. How about the word nervously?
Nervously. Yeah. I would use nervously with the exam, not with receive. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
let's change it.
shortly.
Why don't we change it? Let's just change it to examine. It makes more sense. Examined. Examined. There we go. Go ahead.
Okay. Shortly before sunset, Miss Martian nervously examined a gift or a letter.
Okay, a gift or a letter.
Gift or a letter. Gift or a letter. Okay.
All right, and how about silently?
Silently goes with the examine, okay?
Okay.
When you examine something. Okay. Shortly before sunset, Mrs. Merson silently examined a gift or a letter.
Okay, and which one do you think we should use?
I'll go for cautiously. Why silently? Like,
Cautiously.
I go for cautiously.
Cautiously. Okay. I think for this one, we'll just skip the adjectives. Let's go down to the relative clauses. And so I'm going to copy the sentence down here to the relative clauses.
Mm-hmm.
And where would you arrive the phrase that had arrived unexpectedly?
Okay. 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 Shortly before sunset, because that had arrived unexpectedly. Okay. It goes at the end.
In this case, yes, I think it should go at the end. So how does that sound?
Okay. Shortly before sunset, Mrs. Morrison cautiously examined a gift or a letter that had arrived unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly. Okay, I'm just going to put two words here.
Okay.
The first word is not a word. Well, it's funny because I expected it not to be a word, but it is a word. I don't know what it means. Let's take a look at these two. Can you see the two words that I've written? I'm going to make them bigger. Do you see the two words? Mike Learning is saying, can you... Go ahead. What?
The font is too small.
Okay.
Small.
It will be big in a moment. I just made it bigger.
Okay. Yeah.
So Mike is saying, can you ask again, please? Do you mean, can I explain again? Mike, you have written, she examined attentively the present. You've put the adverb after the verb. But when you're using a do verb, like examine, watch, see, buy, you put it before. So it really should be, she attentively examined the present. You put it after if you have is or will or can or something like that. But if you just have a regular verb like examine, watch, see, do, buy, go, put it before. Okay, can you see the big writing? Yeah, I mean, it says it's a word. I don't know what it means, but just say number one and then say number two.
I don't know. I might came across this word before, but
I've never seen it. I don't think most people, if this really is a word, I mean, it doesn't have a red line under it, so I guess it might be. Mm-hmm. But if it really is a word, it's not a word that anybody uses, okay? So we don't have to worry about it. But how do you pronounce it?
Coachley or
Coachley, like coach and then Lee?
Yeah.
Okay, but how do you pronounce number two?
Cautiously.
Okay, I'm missing all of this. I mean, I'm hearing you say something like coachly. That's why I wrote it, because it should be cautiously.
Oh, okay. Could be the problem with the internet. The delays could make that difference.
Maybe.
Okay. Cautiously.
Yeah. You know, this is kind of like core. Caw.
Cautious.
K like K-U-A. Caw. Caw.
Cautiously.
Cautiously. Like that. Whoops. Cautiously. Cautiously.
Cautiously.
Yeah, cautiously. So Miss Marston cautiously examined a gift or letter that had arrived unexpectedly. How about letter B, which immediately caught her attention? Where would you put that?
Okay. Can just yeah. Okay, thank you. Go to the other sunset west cautiously. Which go. Yes, go again.
Yeah, it could go at the end too.
Because
So how does it sound? How does it sound? How would you do that?
okay. Just can you please just scroll down a bit because it's
Oh, scroll down? Okay.
because it's right.
Okay.
Shortly before sunset, Miss Martin cautiously examined a gift or a letter that had arrived unexpectedly, which immediately caught her attention.
Caught her attention. Okay. Which immediately caught, just like, that's the same sound. Cautiously caught. It's
Cautiously caught.
Cautiously caught her attention. Cautiously examined a gift or letter, which immediately caught her attention. How? Go ahead.
Yeah.
How about letter C? Can you do letter C?
That appeared to be. That appeared to be weird. Also, written by hand. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You can't see it. Let me see. Okay, I raised it up.
Yeah.
Appeared to be written by hand. Okay. Now, how would you do that sentence?
Still, there's nowhere else to put it.
Yeah, I mean sometimes there is though, but in this case, they all appear to go at the end. So, how would that sentence sound to you?
Okay. Shortly before sunset, Miss Martin cautiously examined a gift or a letter that appeared to be written by hand.
Okay. All right. Which one do you like? Which one do you think is best for our story? Arrived unexpectedly, immediately caught her attention, or appeared to be written by hand?
I go for the second one.
Second one?
Like suspicion. Yeah.
Okay. So which immediately caught her attention? Okay. All right. So we'll move on to frame 2 now. And let me move this up here. First, let's start with a verb. Okay. The first verb that we have is inspect. How do you think you could make a sentence using inspect to describe this picture?
Okay, inspect him. He inspect the letter.
What is the past of inspect?
Inspected.
Inspected. That's right. There's an extra sound there because of the D. So let's say Holmes. Just so we're clear, Holmes inspected the letter. Okay.
Holmes inspected the letter.
How about deduce? That's a little bit harder to do. Deduce.
I can't remember what deduce is. It's same story was like.
What does
think
about the word reduce? Reduce. What does that mean?
Reduce means make it less.
Okay, that's right. And deduce. Deduce is kind of similar. It's like, you're looking at all these things, the mysterious presents, the mysterious letters, and he's making like a funnel coming to a decision. He's eliminating things as he goes. making it smaller,
Okay.
and then he makes a decision. So what kind of decision do you think he made when looking at the evidence?
Just he before he, like, if I get you right, like he start to execute or write roll out a few evidence or a few things to come down to the conclusion.
Yeah, like, so what is the what conclusion do you think we have to find? Because we're using deduce, we have to find a conclusion. So I don't know, could be, well, first I think the way that we would write it is he deduced that, and then you have to name like a conclusion that he did. If you can think of any. Maybe you can't think of any because it's been a long time.
Okay, he deduced that the letter wasn't or didn't wasn't written
Mm-hmm.
by a high educated person or
Okay. He deduced
or an intelligent, yeah, or
that
the person did it illiterate person or something like that.
was
Because we have to make it up.
okay. He deduced that the letter wasn't written by a highly educated person. I mean, but the important thing is you're using deduce right. Like, he looked at all the evidence and, you know, he eliminated things and he said, okay, this is true. This one thing is probably true.
That can't be like person by.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like eliminate, make smaller, like reduce, but it's deduce. So he deduced that the letter wasn't written by a highly educated person. I think it was probably written by a highly educated person, but let's just put it. Let's just go with it.
Okay, so that we can reverse it. He deduced that the letter was written by a high
Okay.
person.
Okay, that works too. That's better. Because I think all the people involved were like high military officials and they had a lot of money, so probably also a lot of education.
Sure. Yeah.
I think what's going to happen in chapter 4 when they meet this mysterious man, because I know this story very well, he talks in a very difficult way to understand because he uses a lot of very big, strange words because he's so educated. So I think we'll see that when we do chapter 4. Mike says the two gentlemen were inspecting the content of the letter. That's a really good sentence, except the plural for man is men. So it's not mans. It should be gentlemen. And Mike says they deduced there was an important message for them within the letter because everybody became anxious. Could be. That's a pretty good sentence right there. That works. Okay. How about concentrate? How could we use concentrate in this situation?
Okay, he he concentrated on the clues, or he concentrated on the I don't know, the heads, that's like hens heads.
He concentrated. What do you? I'm not sure what you're trying to. He concentrated on the what? What was that last thing? I'm not sure.
On he concentrated on the style of
the handwriting. The handwriting.
Yeah, the handwriting. Or he concentrated.
Okay. What do you think? What do you want to use?
Yeah, he concentrated on the plot of the letter, or the
on the what of the letter? What was that word?
The plot. Plot means the trick, or the when you're writing a book or a letter or a movie, the plot.
Well, you know, a story has a plot.
That's the story.
So movies have a plot, books have a plot, TV shows have a plot. I don't know if a letter has a plot.
Okay. So he concentrated on the message on the letter, or
Okay.
what's hidden behind, what's behind the words.
Oh, I see. The hidden message of the letter. How about that? The hidden
Mhm.
message of the letter. What do you think?
Mhm.
Mike Learning is getting fancy. He said he concentrated on the subtleties of the message. That's a very fancy way of putting it,
Okay.
Mike.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think we should use, Alex?
Yeah, I go for what you said.
Oh,
So,
you like Mike's? You like Mike's? He concentrated on the subtleties of the message. Okay, we'll put that. He concentrated on the.
It,
Go ahead. What were you saying?
it had it's like it's closed in the meaning, if you get a meaning, you know, but it's suddenly you just but
What does that word mean to you? What does that word subtleties mean to you?
subtlety means something like, you know, it's not easy to it's not revealed, easy revealed, or if you get a meaning, you know, it's
Yeah.
something you need to pay attention, or like pay some effort, make some effort to do some effort to.
Yeah, it's not something that you can easily see. It's not obvious. Okay, so we use that when he concentrated on the subtleties of the message. We did adverbs last time. Let's do adjectives this time. Okay, so we'll put some adjectives. Next time, though, I promise that the vocabulary will be more interesting. I don't know what I was thinking when I made this. Okay.
It's really very useful, very interesting for me, at least yeah. From my point of view, it's very interesting, very useful.
Yeah, it might be better though if the vocabulary was a little bit more challenging.
No problem.
Let's try. Well, I don't know how we could even add the word observant. Maybe we would have to make another sentence in order to use the word observant. What do you think?
Yeah, observant. Yes, it has clarified the meaning. Observant means to like try to be attention to details or something like that.
It's like looking at all the details, being very careful about all the details. Do you know what we could do? We could add a phrase in the beginning like in an observant manner. He concentrated on the subtleties of the message. That's a pretty fancy sentence, actually. What do you think?
Yes, yes.
Well, let's try that with analytical. Can you do the same thing with analytical?
Analytical chain, yeah. Okay. It has to be analytical, or can we just try to? It has to be the same word, or we can like make it a little bit. It has to be an adjective. Sorry.
Well, it should be an adjective, but what were you thinking? What did you want to do with it?
I can use analytically.
Okay. Well, if you chose to do that analytically, how would you insert it into the sentence?
Okay, but if you please just scroll down the.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me see. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Okay.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Here we go. Let's see. Mike says, right dude was much more observant than analytical by the main character. Mike, I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Who is right dude? And who are you calling the main character? I just have a couple of questions for you.
Observant.
I mean, you could even change observant into an adverb if you wanted to. How would you put it in as an adverb if that's what you want to do?
Is that for me or for Mike?
Oh, for you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Not at all, nothing. Okay. Analytically, he concentrate on the
Mhm.
subtleties of the message.
When you have a verb that finishes with a T sound or a D sound, and it's a regular verb, you add ed to make the past, it always
Yeah.
makes a new sound. So if you want to say concentrate in the past, it adds an extra syllable.
Concentrated.
That's right.
Yep.
Concentrated. Concentrated. Okay.
Okay.
So you could take the easy way. You could say analytically, he concentrated on the subtleties of the message. But where inside the sentence could you put analytically?
Okay. It's he analytically concentrated.
Yeah.
So it can go, but can't it go can't it go like at the beginning?
Yeah, it could. It could. But that was too easy, so I wanted to make it a little bit difficult for you.
Okay.
That's
He
all.
analytically, concentrated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Analytically. Plus, if we could even keep in an observant manner if we put it here in the middle like this. So we could say in an observant manner, he analytically. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually
Concentrated on the subtleties. Yeah.
that's a pretty fancy sentence we just built here. What about perplexing? Do you know that word perplex?
Perplex. I heard it before a few times, but I can't remember that, because you're away, Sarah, for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Forget everything.
Confusing. Actually, let's say that it means very confusing. Or very confused. I mean, it really depends how you're using it, but let's say very confusing.
Okay.
Maybe we can't use that. Let's just leave that alone. I don't think that we can really use that one here. So should we just keep the sentence as it is with both analytically and observant?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's do one more thing. Let's add a relative clause to this. Okay. So the first relative clause that we have, I think, let's see, let me position this so you can see everything. That seem to contain an important clue. Where would you put that?
Okay. And just would you please just scroll it down a little bit? Yeah.
I think I did. I think I changed it already.
Yeah. In an observer, he analytically concentrated on the subtle. That seemed to contain an important clue. Okay. 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 It gets hard.
You think it's hard?
That seemed to contain an important clue.
Well, but think of this like an adjective. Think of it like one really big adjective, letter A. What thing, if it's an adjective, what thing would it describe inside this sentence?
An adjective. The message.
Yeah. So this is more information about the message.
Put the message, yeah. Okay. So it has to go before something that seems to contain an important clue.
No, okay, it's going to actually follow message because we've got this little word here, that, which will connect message and the extra information. So it actually has to follow message, not in front.
That's it, yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense if you put it before the message. It has to be at the end.
Yeah. So can you read the whole sentence?
Yeah. Okay. In an absorbent manner, he analytically concentrated on the subtleties.
Subtleties.
subtleties of the message that seem to contain an important clue.
All right. Now we're in business. I don't know about the other ones. The other ones don't look like they fit very well. So I say let's just leave it like this. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm still experimenting with this stuff here. So what we'll do is we'll bring that down to frame 3, what we've created so far. So we've got our fancy sentence here, and then we've got another fancy sentence that we've made. And I think we'll probably have to stop after frame 3. So I don't think we'll get to finish this today. But whoops, I put this in the wrong place. Let me get this down here. All right. Okay, so we'll start. Oh wait, let's move to frame 3 here. Traveling, and our first verb is travel. What kind of sentence do you think that you could make with the word travel, describing this picture and point in the story?
If you want to use,
I'm sorry, what?
They was traveling to the countryside, or they were traveling to the. Okay, they were traveling by the what way?
By coach or by carriage?
By coach, yeah.
Okay.
Carriage, yeah.
By coach to, where were they going?
To.
Let's say to visit the author of the letter. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't remember, to tell you the truth. Let's see. Hopefully it works. All right. They were traveling by coach to visit the author of the letters. Okay. Is that okay? You think that's okay?
Yeah, I don't have.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Like what you call it, a vivid imagination. That's not. I don't have that.
That's okay.
Forget me.
That's okay. If we're wrong, we're wrong. Mike Learning says they were traveling into the carriage without noticing someone was. Now you wouldn't travel into the carriage. You could travel by carriage, which means that the carriage is taking you, but you would go.
And transport.
Go, yeah, but go. You would go into the carriage. That means enter the carriage. That too is like an arrow pointing where are you going. So you can't travel into carriages. You can go into carriages. Okay, so, all right. So we've got, they were traveling by coach to visit the author of the letters. Let's hope that that's close enough. What about this word approach? What kind of sentence could you make with that? Approach.
Approach means reach, yeah?
Approach means to move into the direction of something. It doesn't mean arrive. Reach to me means like arrive. But approach means like you're moving towards something.
Okay. So it's they were approaching the author of the letter.
Okay, they were approaching, let's say the home. The home of the.
Do we need a preposition?
Author of the letter. What is the purpose of a preposition? If I asked you, Alex, what's a preposition? What would be your best definition of a preposition?
A preposition, it's like a connector.
Okay, it does connect. What does it connect?
It's connected the verb with the what we call with the object.
Yeah, you're right. That's what it does. It connects a verb usually to an object. But you could think of it like a helping word. Okay.
Okay.
So, for example, like if I say eat and then I say pizza, do I need any help? Do I need to clarify the relationship between eat and pizza, or is it just obvious?
Clear and obvious, yeah.
Yeah, it's really obvious. So you don't say eat to pizza or eat at pizza. You don't have to because it's very obvious. Eat pizza. It makes perfect sense. But, if I say eat pizza and then I want to say restaurant, that maybe needs clarification. Eat pizza at the restaurant.
At restaurant, yeah.
Because restaurant and eat they have a connection, but it's a small connection, right? You could do a lot of things at a restaurant. Or eat pizza at a restaurant with my friends, right? So the preposition is kind of helping us clarify the relationship between a verb and an object when it's not obvious. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now the word approach means walk in the direction of something. Okay.
Yes.
So in the direction of something is kind of already included in the word approach. Do you understand?
So I do, yeah. So we don't need any preposition.
No, you don't. Now, it's funny because Mike wrote in the well, actually, no, now that I'm reading the whole sentence, I can't say what I wanted to say, but because he said when someone approached behind, you probably have to say when someone approached behind them. But it wasn't what I thought it was, so never mind. Oh, yes, that's what I was going to say, Mike. I was going to say approach from behind, because approach means walking towards something, and behind is kind of like the opposite. So there you do need to say behind or from behind, because you're doing the opposite of what approach usually means. It's confusing. It's very confusing. Okay. So no, we do not need like approach to home, just approaching the home. They were approaching the home of the author of the letter. Okay. How about accompany? Do you know that word, accompany? Have you ever used that?
Accompany means like a good company, like a group, like a friend or something, or a group of people, like.
Well, it's a good way to think of what accompany means, because accompany means to go with someone somewhere.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's usually your friend. It usually when you say I'll accompany you, like I'll go with you, it's because oh, we're really friends. I'll keep you company. I'll talk to you. We'll be good friends. Something like that. It's a nice word. How would you use it here?
Okay. He were accompanied, or he was accompanied with some friend.
Okay, he was accompanied. We're going to use by here.
By some friend. Yeah.
Accompanied by, let's say, by his assistant.
Okay.
Watson. Just to make it more interesting, I guess. All right. Okay, which one do you think we should use?
They were approached whom those of you accompanied.
Accompanied.
They were traveling by coach. Okay. Look, the three sentence will give like it will give a different flavor to the story. Well, just we'll give the listener a different imagination. If you get what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. What's the difference between let's number these. What's the difference between number 1 and number 2?
They were traveling to visit the author. They were approaching the 1 and 2, like it had the same meaning. Okay,
Do they?
they have the same meaning.
What's the difference? I mean, when I hear they were approaching the home, I think they're very close to the home already.
To the home, yeah.
But when I hear they were traveling by coach to visit the author of the letters, I don't know how
They
far
could
they
be
are.
there just how far they could, just started the journey. Yeah, so yeah, the second one will give more. The second.
Mike is saying, even though he tried to accompany the carriage pace, that was almost impossible just after a couple of minutes. Mike, I think you want the phrasal verb keep up. He tried to keep up with the carriage pace, but that was almost impossible after a few minutes. Accompany means you go with someone to talk to them, to be their company, to be their friend. So when you accompany someone, you're going with them maybe to talk or just so the other person isn't lonely. Something like that.
You could say he's a good company.
Yeah,
he's a good person.
If you say someone is good company, that means you like it when they visit.
Mhm.
It's nice when they visit. They're fun to talk to. They're good friends, something like that. So which one do you like? Which one do you think we should use? Travel by coach, approaching the home, or accompanied by his assistant?
Accompanied by his assistant.
Okay, he was accompanied by his assistant, Watson. Let's say this. Let's just to make them all kind of even. To the home of the author. So I'm just going to add a little extra information.
Yes.
Because I'm worried when we add the adverbs or the adjectives that, maybe nothing will fit because this sentence is a little different from the idea of the other ones. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it looks like they keep using the same adverbs here. So let's go to the adjectives, and that might be interesting to explore some of the implications of using these words. Like the first word, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. Deserted. What does that mean, deserted?
A deserted woman, or deserted man or person, a person lived or. Okay, if I'm right, a person were ignored or was ignored for a while, or just he living alone.
Oh.
Do you use it as a deserted woman or deserted wife? Am I right?
Well, do you know the word abandoned?
Abandoned, yeah.
Okay,
Abandoned, yeah.
It could be a synonym.
Or abandoned.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a synonym for abandoned. So yes, you could use it in those contexts. But what does deserted street mean?
Deserted street, it's not usually be walked of people, or people don't like to go and or use it as that street.
Yeah, what if I say, oh, Main Street is very crowded during the day, but at night it's deserted. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
because not many people use the place, the street, or walk in the street.
Okay, so people should be there, but there's nobody there. No people.
Oh.
Okay. Is there any place that we could use the word deserted in this sentence?
Just can you please just scroll down the
Oh, let me
the
see.
sentence?
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Stop. Not at all.
It'll appear in a minute. It will be readable in a minute.
Could be the problem from my internet, because I can't.
I think it
I
takes
see
a
that
minute.
too.
It's a little bit slow. It should be coming pretty soon, though. deserted. He was accompanied by his assistant, Watson, to the home of the author. Where would you put the word deserted? Is there any place?
We have to add in a deserted street or on a deserted street. We have to just.
You could. I mean, I was
comment?
thinking maybe deserted home, but you could. How would you add deserted street? How would you do that?
He was accompanied with by his assistant Watson in a like in a deserted street.
Okay, to the home of the author on a deserted street. We could do that. All right. What about the word shadowy? What does that mean to you? What do you think of when you think of that word shadowy?
Shadowy. Is it comes from shadow? Like
It does.
The.
It does come from the word shadow.
Okay.
Do you think that's a positive word or a negative word, shadowy?
I think it's a negative. I can't.
You think what?
It's a negative word.
It is. It's a negative word. Could mean like scary, something that makes you nervous, dark.
It's something that not obvious, not clear. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at the picture for frame 3. That's a shadowy street. There are lots of shadows. It makes you feel a little bit scared, a little bit sad. It's not a very happy view. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think we could use shadowy in this phrase?
We still have a problem with the sentence.
Oh, wait, let me see. So he was accompanied by his assistant, Watson. That's because I keep moving it to the home of the author on a deserted street. That's what we have so far. What do you think you could do with the word shadowy?
In a shadowy street.
Okay, we can do that. So we can just change deserted to shadowy. Okay.
Shadowy, yeah.
How about unfamiliar?
Let's say.
Okay.
Unfamiliar street.
Unfamiliar street.
Place, yeah.
And which one is your favorite? Which one do you think that we should use here?
I'll go for deserted.
Deserted?
Suspicion.
Okay. Unfamiliar street. Unfamiliar street. Okay. So we'll go with deserted, and then we'll just do one more thing. We'll add some relative clauses to this if we can. So I'm going to move that up here, and we'll probably have to add more information if we want to use any of these. Let's see, can you see these? Okay, I've got everything so you can see it eventually when the delay. Can you see the relative clauses yet? Do you see them?
Not yet.
No.
Just give me a second. I think the problem is from my internet. I think it's got kind of too slow here.
You think your internet is too slow?
It's gone too slow on the other line, not on the phone, the other line. So, If you please, just read out the any relative clause.
Well, the first relative clause, I don't even know if we can use it. We're going to have to add more words if we want to use any of these, okay? So the first one is that was waiting outside. So there's no way to add that into the sentence without adding more information.
What the other one?
Can you see? You don't see them yet? I can. You know what I can do? Because I think it's hard to keep track. The sentence. I'm pasting them into Discord. Okay.
Mm.
And then maybe you should be able to see it right away. Can you see? I put it in Discord.
He was accompanied by his assistant, Boston, at the home of the author on the desert, on a deserted street. Okay, still. That was waiting outside, which carried them through there.
Who was waiting outside, or what was waiting outside for them? We have to add more information, otherwise it doesn't make sense. In my opinion, any of these relative clause need an extra information. Yeah, we do. We definitely do. But so what could be waiting outside for Holmes to take them to the deserted street?
Like a guide.
Okay.
Like a person just familiar with the place.
Or a cab, a taxi,
or a cab, an extra,
Okay.
extra guard, yeah.
So maybe let's use that. So how would you say, enter the cab, waiting outside, he was accompanied by his assistant. How would you add to that?
He was accompanied by his assistant, was a dear of the author of the deserted street, guarded by a cab or cabs.
Okay, we just want to add that was waiting outside, but we'll have to add here. I'll show you an example, okay? But then you have to try letter B and letter C, okay? But so like he got into a cab that was waiting outside. I'm going to paste it into Discord, okay?
Discord,
He got into a cab that was waiting outside. So the only way to do this would be to add a little bit more information. Here we go. I'm putting it, I'm pasting it right now. See, the only way to add that was waiting outside would be to add something like, oh, he got into a cab that was waiting outside. You see that? What do you think? I mean, even if you have to add more information, how could you say letter B, which carried them through the rainy streets?
Which carried them to the rainy street. It has to be something to do with the coach.
Yeah. Again, it has to be the coach.
So we don't have anything about any hint here for the coach. Like because he got into a cab that was waiting outside. He was accompanied by his assistant to them. I don't know.
Well, again, I think all you have to do, you could just say he got into the cab, which carried them through the rainy streets.
Yeah. Yes.
And he was accompanied. Everything else fits. So let's try that one. Wait. Let me copy and paste this. I'm going to put it in Discord to remind you. So he got into the cab, which carried them through the rainy streets. Okay. What is the final one? That seemed to be
That
following?
seemed to be one of them. Okay, he got onto a cab that was waiting for him. He
This
was
this one, I think you have to do something completely different. Something completely new.
completely different. You have to give a new idea. Okay, he was accompanied by his assistant, Boston, to the home of the author on a deserted street.
Mhm.
They, he saw a cab which that seemed to be for them.
Okay, maybe. We're just making this story up now, but he saw a cab which seemed to be following them. It works grammatically. Maybe it's true. I don't know. He saw a cab which seemed to be.
In a way, there is no copyrights, so we can make whatever we want.
Yeah, we can just say we don't remember anyway, so we can just say whatever we want. Nobody will.
No
We won't get in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's not going to upset anyone anyway.
No, nobody cares. No, there will be. There'll be somebody in the comments who says, "That's not what happened." Okay. Yeah, we know.
Okay.
But here, what I've got is I've got everything that we did today, okay? And I just put it in Discord for you to see. Can you just read from the beginning to the end? Shortly before sunset, Miss Marston, let's just read everything that we wrote today.
He got it. Sorry. Give me a second, just when he got it, can't do it. Did you post it to the?
I thought I did. Let me check. Yeah, I put it in the Discord. So where is it? Yeah, it's down at the bottom though. It starts kind of the bottom. Shortly before sunset, Miss Marston. Wait, what happens if I space? No, nothing happens. Let's see. L. Okay, no, I'm copying the. There we go. Now you can see the beginning of this.
Yeah. Shortly before sunset, Miss Marston cautiously examined a gift or a letter, which immediately caught her attention and in an observant manner. He analytically concentrated on the subtleties of the message.
Subtleties
Of the message that seemed to contain an important clue. He got into a cab that was waiting outside. He was accompanied by his assistant Boston to the home of the author on a deserted street. He saw a cab which seemed to be following them.
Okay, perfect. Wow, yeah, that's pretty good.
It's a nice story.
It's pretty good story.
It's scary. It's not a bedtime story, but it's a story.
It's not exactly faithful to the story, but that's okay. We don't care. All right, probably I will be back tomorrow around the same time as today if you're interested in continuing this, okay? And I will see you next time, okay?
That's a great. Thanks. I'm grateful, man.
Okay.
I'm very grateful. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.